things that are normally easy are all of a sudden difficult, like watching TV. In a studio apartment, you have to both want to watch TV at the same time. Then you have to want to watch the same thing at the same volume preference. Now, I don't know if my husband is hard of hearing, but to him, if the TV is not at volume 85 or above, it might as well be on mute. God forbid I bring the volume down to 65. He will passive-aggressively put on the captions. It's his silent way of yelling at me. If my husband cannot feel the vibration of every word coming out of the TV, not loud enough. And we watch different stuff. My husband likes to watch UFC fights and the Hallmark Channel. He's very diverse. He's into extreme violence and Candace Cameron Bure. Me, I just want to watch anything murdery, rapey. Those are my shows. All the crime shows. If there is not an investigation to be had, a bad guy to be caught, a soothing narrator voice telling me how the woman's body was dragged behind the building, then I don't want to watch it. I like all the crime shows. Whether it's a network procedural drama like Law and Order, NCIS, SWAT, Criminal Minds, FBI, like anything Dick Wolf, yes, I'm gonna watch that. But I also love the docuseries shows, Forensic Files, The First 48. That's my show. And I travel a lot with stand-up, so a lot of times I go to cities that are always on that show. And I'll arrive in that city and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm in Dade County. I could totally get murdered right now. Like I get all starstruck. My favorite one is Law and Order SVU. Yes. Anybody watching the spin-off Organized Crime with Detective Stabler? Let's talk about Stabler for a second. Christopher Maloney plays Detective Elliot Stabler. He was on Law & Order SVU for a very long time. And then he left the show for 10 years. And then he came back. Now, I don't know what he did while he was away. I don't know what they call that. Intermittent fasting, protein shakes, keto. I don't know what he did. But when he got on the scene, I got flustered. I did. I was like, oh my God, Stabler. Stop flirting with me. And the day after that premiere episode, he posted on Instagram that it was his 60th birthday. And I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. Do I have a crush on my dad's friend? What? That's weird, because Stabler could get it. Let's go, 60.
My favorite action movies of the current day and age that we're in are the Fast and the Furious movies. Those are my favorite ones. Arguably, oh, sure. But even cheering, we know they're the dumbest ones out there. They're dumb, they know they're dumb, and we know they're dumb. And we're still like, give them to me. How dumb are the last one was called Fast X for Fast 10. There's 12 of them. They're like, it's Fast 10. Like, aren't there 12? They're like, shut up, dummy. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, it's fine. They're the guys that die in one just show back up. They don't even say why. They're just like, hey. They're like, oh, I thought you. Yeah. Like, And they're formulaic, they're elaborate, but they're truly formulaic. Like, right, I'm going to describe one of the Fast and Furiae to you right now, and pretty sure that's how you pluralize it. So, and if you don't know the franchise, you will not know if I'm just making this up, just pulling it out of my ass. You will have no. And if you do know the franchise, you still will not be sure, because they just blend into one long Camaro explosion. But say we'll choose anyone from like in the middle. So let's say like 3 to 8. Let's say anywhere in there. You never know what it's going to be. They've already done their first heist. They've established themselves. They've got their millions. You know, this rapscallion crew of Honda Civic jockeys. They've made a few bucks and now they're in different parts of the world, just enjoying their life. We really did it. Nothing can go wrong now. And that's when just a representative from the U.S. government comes in like, we need this crack team of DVD player thieves. When that was relevant, we're the USA, strongest military in the world. Never mind about the Navy SEALs, but we're the strongest military in the world. That's part of the training now. We let puppies lick their toes, and if they crack, they're out. But right now, outside of the best, strongest, big dick military in the world, none of them know how to drive manual. So we really need you guys. We need you, bunch of Corona-sipping degenerates, to help us out. What had happened? It's just a group of international terrorists. It's international now. They can't be from a country because that's problematic. But it's still terrorism, but it's very diverse. Who are these terrorists? I don't know. That guy's Cuban. I think he's gay. Whatever. They're all over the place. They're all over the place now. They've stolen the nuclear codes. It's always the codes. It's never the bots, the codes. Apparently somebody's just writing them down in a notebook and just leaving them in a backpack at Starbucks. They always get the codes. It's just somebody like, all right, I got my keys, I got my wallet, chapstick. Oh, my JanSport full of nuclear codes. I can't believe I left it on the bus. So, the terrorists have stolen nuclear codes. They've hidden them in a Lamborghini. That's right, hide something. They've hidden them in a Lamborghini. Tastefully colored, no, it's orange, bright orange Lamborghini. And they've stashed it on top of the bad guy's skyscraper. That's where I'd put it. You can't put it in the garage, it'll get scratched. So, there's a bright orange Lamborghini full of nuclear codes on top of a heavily protected skyscraper in a country that we will not name because this movie needs to make money everywhere. So, what did I tell you? You know, you gotta feel. So that's on you guys now to help us, because our military can't do it. And they're like, all right, assemble. Well, who do we have in our team that might have like a connection? A guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who might have like just a special Lamborghini lifting helicopter. And then just out of the shadows comes former hip hop star Ludacris. Oh, sure. Of course. Can you imagine it being someone else other than Ludacris? I'm convinced Ludacris does not know he's in these movies. I think Ludacris, he shows up wearing the clothes he was gonna wear anyway. And they just convince him to say a few key phrases. What? Lamborghini living in a helicopter. Got it, that's it. And they call him Ludacris half the time, I'm pretty sure. I don't know his character names like Dave or Lugnut, I don't know, but like, all right, so Luda, shit. Oh, should we cut? Because I called them like, nope, we already blew the budget on special effects. Just keep going. But somehow they get Ludacris to say, yeah, I got a guy. And they're like, all right, cool. And so that's it. We're like, oh, we're like only 20 minutes in the movie, short and sweet. They cracked the case, you know? So special Lamborghini lifting helicopters coming over the horizon, you know, just approaching. And it's a unique looking helicopter. And bad guy skyscraper's over here, but it's a skyscraper. They got a vantage point with elevation. They're like, that looks like a particular kind of helicopter. Maybe one specifically designed for picking up Lamborghinis full of nuclear codes. And then the bad guys are like, well, should we double check? Like, where are the bad guys? And they just shoot it down. They just shoot it down right there. And you're 25 minutes into the movie, like, well, oh no, what are we gonna do? That was the plan. And so now we gotta go back to the clubhouse where everybody's hanging out. And we're like, all right, well, that plan, that was our one shot. So now we got to go the real unorthodox, maybe something like with math and science and engineering. Do we have somebody in our group with like that kind of brain, that analytical thinking that could like figure out some way with engineering to get the car out there? Oh, yeah, former model Tyrese, of course. Of course, when I think of engineering mastermind, I think of Tyrese. Tyrese, I believe, is reading the script just below the camera at all times. Oh, what's up? You all need help getting a lamb giant? That says lamb gina, man. That's how it's spelled. Oh. Y'all need to get a Lamborghini off a building. And then they just cut to a whiteboard with a lot of shapes and numbers on it. And he just goes, there. You know, like that's, they just had some intern run in, just make geometric shapes and put some math on there. And that's when Tyree's like, well, if you drive it fast enough off the edge of the building and you could just fly it away on account of a Lamborghini has the doors that do this. It's got doors like this. So if you get enough speed, it could actually travel non-traditionally. That sounds like Back to the Future. Shut up, man. And so if you got enough speed, all right, so that's the plan. We'll fly the Lamborghini. To where? Okay, well, I guess we could just like get a short-term lease on a good guy skyscraper across the street. We'll just roll in with some cash, talk to the landlord. According to Tyrese's calculations, we really only need floors 8 through 13. We really only need those. Given the trajectory of his math, that's where the Lamborghini should crash into. So we'll get a short-term lease there. Absolutely, short-term lease. All right, but now we have to execute this plan. Who do we have amongst our crew that is brave enough, that is strong enough, that is bald and dumb enough to... We all know who it is. My man Vincent Diesel. That's who's coming in there. Vincent Diesel. My man Dominic Toretto. I just go by Vincent these days. He hears him talking about, he scoots out from underneath some hot rod that's blowing up in every movie. Every movie, that car just fucking explodes at the end, and the next one starts with him like, Apparently all you need is like a 5/8 wrench to be like, back in action. He scoots out with a totally clean tank top and just stands up like, I'll do it. He's only got 5 lines. And he rolls in there. He gets to bad guy skyscraper. He just starts at the bottom, just indiscriminately just kills, shoots him, shoots this guy. Gets to 1 floor, like, where's the call center? What's happening? No witnesses. Shoots him. Gets up to what? We're just United Airlines customer service. What's going on? Double tap. I gotta fly them tomorrow. He just kills everybody in the skyscraper and gets up to the roof where the Lamborghini full of nuclear codes that he gets in. There's always a minute where he's just like is horny for the car, where he's like, you know. Why? He fires it up, backs up, shoots it towards the edge of the building. Boom, it goes. He pops the doors That's it. They're the wings. It's flying. Of course it's flying. We've all agreed that this is real. I'm on my third bag of popcorn just going, of course it works. Tyrese knows math. I'm absolutely with him on this, 100%. But then there's one terrorist he didn't get yet. There's one guy, and he's just barely hanging on, but he's dedicated to being a terrorist. And he's like, he pulls his AK-47 over by him, and he says something hack, because they didn't pay the writers well enough. So this guy's just like, not on my watch, or some shit. Like something dumb. And he's got one bullet left, and he fires it off. But it doesn't hit Vincent, and it doesn't hit like the undercarriage. Like, it just hits the window in the door, which that's where the lift exists for the Lamborghini to fly. Oh no, this whole plan unravels. Now Lamborghini's spiraling, and Vincent's like, what are we gonna do? And it's spiraling, it's not gonna go to the designated floors that they gotta rent on. It just smashes into the side, a good guy skyscraper. And Vincent thinks quick, he flips outside, he grabs a seatbelt, he's dangling off the side of the building. He's holding on like an office chair that's hooked on an I-beam that's hanging out of a under construction office, and he's holding on to the Lamborghini by the seatbelt, just like, you gotta do this. And he's looking at his crucifixes just dangling, shining in the sunlight. And he looks at that, and that's when he's like, oh yeah, family. And he just, which is such, that's weird that's what that reminds him of, because the guy in that crucifix, his dad killed him. That's a weird thing to go with. But that's where he gets his strength, family, and and he flings the Lamborghini over his head into the office up there, and he drags himself up, but he's just got glass coming out of his bald head, and it's bleeding. He drags himself in there, and the rest of the crew, they all rush up to make sure he's okay, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that was so close. And the main, like the starlet, his wife, I don't even know, she shows up for the first 5 minutes in the movie and disappears, but then she's there at the end, like she was part of this crew the whole time, and she's like, oh, I can't believe, I'm so glad you're safe, don't you do that ever again. But then she's like, but also the way you saved the world has got me all, every time you just assert yourself this way, we should fuck. And he's just laying there bleeding like, all right. And that's the part of the movie where I'm like, okay, I was with you the whole time. I was with you from Ludacris just being called Ludacris, from Tyrese knowing science. I was on board with everything. Flying Lamborghini, instantly, of course. But there's no way he's fucking rocking up for this. And that, not then, no. I just want one action movie where that's the moment where it really hits the realism, where it's just like everything happened, there's explosions, death, blood, and I just want the main guy to just be like, what, are you fucking around? Did you not see what I just... Can I get like 20 minutes? Jesus Christ. I see... This is what horns you up? What's wrong? I just killed all those guys. And that, not to mention, I ran up the whole building, but those guys had families. I'm sad about that. You don't really... And also, I've been at my target heart rate all day with this plan. I think this is rebar that went through a kidney. My blood pressure's plummeting, but...
I'm gonna say something, but unfortunately we live in like annoying times where I feel as though it requires some sort of disclaimer, okay? What I'm about to say next, my opinion, based solely on my experience. Yeah, it's not a general statement on this particular group of people. I'm sure that there are members of this group of people in this house tonight. But again, this is my experience. For me, the worst part of my schooling experience were the teachers. Now, that's not to say that all teachers are dumb. Just mine. This is not a group of people you want to fuck with on the internet. I speak from experience. And you know what? I stand by what I said. My teachers, like, sometimes I'll be taking it like a dump. No, I would never, ever take a dump. I'm a girl. Sometimes I'll be making like a little tinkle, you know? My pee comes out pink. Anyone else? It's gorgeous. You could drink it. I'm not okay. Sometimes I'll just sit back and think about the shit my teachers used to do and say, and I'm like blown away by how fucking dumb they are, you know? Anyone else ever experienced that? Like just mind blown that the people who were in charge of you as a child like graduated college? Twice! Like everyone remembers, my teachers used to always say this. Claudia, sit down. The bell doesn't excuse you. I do. No, that's literally what the bell does. It's the sole purpose of the bell. It's why the bell is in this fucking room. Oh my God, that shit used to make me so fucking mad. And I wasn't like a great student, obviously. I do this for a living. But I was that kid who was always having a snack in class. Sorry, I'm a growing girl going through puberty. Sue me, arrest me. And the way they'd fucking overreact and call you out, which just baseline as a chubby teenager is so embarrassing. And the way they'd overreact like I was committing some heinous crime in the back of the classroom, you know? Like I was fingering myself back there. And I would look at her and be like, chill. It's a baked lay, not a knife. And then in order to justify them not letting you eat in class, they had to always say, well, did you bring enough to share with the class? And I just remember thinking as a young teenager, like, why the fuck is that my problem? I'm supposed to feed this entire group? Am I running a soup kitchen? Leave me alone. Because that shit used to make me so mad. And I know for a fact that my teachers were teaching me the wrong shit. You know, because I was taught always from a very young age, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Oh, so you've never watched a movie with my husband? No, Ben, I'm watching the same movie as you. I have the same fucking information. And you know, if you stop pausing it and just watch, we'll find out what happens. Isn't the cinema amazing? Oh, there's no such thing as a dumb question? That's so interesting. So what do you call it when a waiter comes over and asks if I want the bread basket? Because you know what I would call that? A dumb fucking question. What would you call it when an Uber driver says, ma'am, there's a lot of traffic. You want to get out here and walk? I would call that a dumb fucking question. But by far, in my opinion, the most egregious, the most heinous crime our teachers ever committed. I know everyone in the room can relate to this experience. You know, it's that moment in class, you're just minding your own business, doodling, staring at the clock, willing it to move, thinking to yourself, okay, if I do 5 minutes 3 times, I'm out of here. And then just like a ton of bricks, it would hit you like, oh my God, I'm gonna shit my pants. So you do the appropriate thing, you know, ask for permission to move your bowels. Hi, Miss Goldberg. I went to a Jewish day school. Yeah, Miss Goldberg, can I go to the bathroom? It's an emergency. I don't know, Claudia. Can you? No. Listen, I respect the hustle. Not the time for a fucking grammar lesson. Seriously, I had an iced coffee for breakfast. Do you want me to take a dump in the middle of the room? Because it sounds like that's what you want me to do. Yes, I poop like this.
One word that I love is the word eschew, E-S-C-H-E-W. I love that word, and not only because it contains the word chew, which is pretty charismatic. To eschew something means to avoid it because you think it's not right, you think it's improper. So things you might catch me eschewing would include Fox News. Like anything that would make you say, fuck that. I eschew dog shit. Sorry, that's redundant. See, I'm working on my creativity. Something I love to eschew, light beer. Which is also a great example of an oxymoron. We take delicious beer and take all the good shit out of it. So you have all like the pleasure of drinking sudsy fermented juice with no booze. Fuck you. This one might surprise you. I eschew performance-enhancing drugs. It's all natural. They call me the Bo Jackson of humorists. It's the best laugh that joke's ever gotten. Thank you, old people. But the reason I'm telling you about the word eschew is this. I love to eschew. It's part of my life's mission as a Full Bush club member, is that I try to eschew consumerism. Consumerism is the opposite of Full Bush. We have so much messaging in our lives and in our world, and we'll probably never escape it. The companies will always be buying whatever tiny inch of real estate they can. I mean, imagine someday you'll be pumping gas, and there'll be a tiny television on the fucking gas pump. What do you have, like 3 minutes? Like, hey, since you're standing there leaning against your car, let me try and sell you another fucking credit card. I want to stand here and huff this gas and like lean against the car and fucking feel good. God damn it. So I'm always trying to stay aware of all the messaging, trying to turn me into a sheep. I don't want to be a sheep. And so something that I kind of learned by accident, because I grew up in a family that makes things, is so I make things as different parts of my jobs. And I learned that when I'm making things with my hands, I can't pay attention to messaging generally. And so that's the best way that I have to eschew consumerism, is making things with my hands. I love to make things out of wood. I have a wood shop in Los Angeles where I get to do that. I love to make food. Food is a classic, and people don't think about it. But let me just tell you a couple things about food you might not realize. First of all, if you do it right, when you're done, you get to fucking eat it. Think about it. Of all the things you can make, food is the only one that you get a treat at the end. It's genius. Also, if you make food right, people will come around. And you can get those people to do shit for you. There are members of my family that are exploiting the shit out of that one.
I read an article a while back. Always stuck with me. This company did a study where they said only 30% of people in this country actually get to do their dream job. Did you know that? Only 30% of people in this entire country get to do their dream job. When I think about that and I see that y'all came out, I'm just grateful y'all came to support my backup plan, y'all, because that's this was not my dream job. Don't get me wrong, my career's going great. I'm happy, but this ain't what I dreamed. Get the fuck out of here. I never dreamed of telling people how gay I'd get for $19 million. Get out of here. Wasn't a kid just staring at the stars. One day, they're gonna know the price. But I was going to the NBA, man. The NBA, they had other thoughts. I still remember when I fell in love with basketball. I remember the day I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm 5 years old, right? I'm 5. Never heard of basketball. No one had ever introduced me to it. I get taken to a game. We get to sit close. I mean close. Like close enough to like, you get to see the game that you don't get to see on TV, you know what I'm saying? I still remember this as clear as day, right? I saw player A foul player B hard. And then I saw a ref call a foul on player A. And then I saw player A turn to the ref and go, suck my dick. And I was like, what game is this? What is this? I'm 5 years old, my mind's blown. I'm like, you can do that? I remember I look at the guy sitting next to me, I go like, he just said the thing. Is he not gonna get in trouble for that? And the guy next to me goes, nah, he's gonna be fine. I'm like, what game is this? I wanna do this when I grow up. What is this? The NBA might be the wildest workplace in America. We don't even talk about it. Think about what you've seen them get to do, cross-reference it with your job, tell me they're equals. Get the fuck out of here. I just saw a guy tell a coworker, suck my dick, and everybody who saw it went, you know how he is. What? What a free workplace. And I'm just saying, like, there's something to it. Like, the NBA is just a place where you could just sort of get away with almost anything. And I'm not saying it's, like, always got to be bad. You could just sort of do anything. It's got a place there. When I was growing up, there was a player named Jason Terry, right? His nickname was the Jet. And anytime Jason Terry hit a three-pointer, you know how he'd celebrate? He'd spread his arms like they were the wings on a plane, and he would just run back down court as if he had flown away. He did that for 19 years. I need you to 19 years of a guy running through the office. Nobody stopped him. Not once. Nobody was like, Jason, where the fuck are you flying? Nigga, get back on defense. We're still playing. Not once for 2 decades. God, I want to do that so bad. I just love the idea of that. He got to do that for fucking 19 years. Oh. It's all I've ever wanted to do. You can't do that shit in comedy. I couldn't drop a punchline and be like, later. I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? It's all I ever dream of doing. I just want to tell somebody to suck my dick and fly away. That's all I've ever wanted. I want it for everybody. I tried. Dude, I tried to get to the league, man. I tried so hard. I really thought I was going to the NBA. Closest I got was a white girlfriend. I wasn't really... I mean, the scouts were like, that's a good start. Now next, we want you to stop this guy from scoring. I'm like, I mean, I'll try, but I'm better at the first thing. Let's gauge this for a second before I ask. By round of applause, how many people here have ever dated somebody of another race before? Who's done it? Yeah? Okay. That's mostly crowd. All right. By the way, you're not a villain if you haven't. This isn't gonna be one of those things. I'm just trying to gauge this before I ask, all right? For those of you that have dated somebody of another race, have you ever gone out with that person and then you ran into somebody who just assumed that's all you're into? Like, you get what I'm saying? Where they're like, oh, you got a thing? You're like, oh, I didn't know I had a thing. You know? I run into it all the time. It's one of the biggest things in my dating life. People are always just like, JB? Yeah, JB only likes white girls. I'm like, that's not even true. I do like white girls, but I like women of every race. And then they'll get defensive. They're like, well, then why have your last 6 girlfriends been white? And I'm like, because that's who said yes. That's all I can do. It's like, what more do you want from me? What, am I supposed to date 6 black women that said no? We've got R. Kelly. What am I supposed to do? You feel me?
I do think I made an actual good choice recently. I just quit being vegan after a year and a half of doing it. I'm back, baby! Back in these meat streets. Oh, man, does it feel good to have friends again. Yeah, no one wants you around. My ex-husband and I, we went vegan together on January 1st, 2020. And then 2 months later, we were divorced. Am I saying that veganism ruins marriages? Yeah, I am. But if we kept on eating nachos, we would have been too happy and too sleepy to notice our problems. There's not a lot of divorce in the Midwest. People think it's religion. It's cheese curds. Cheese can do what God can't. A couple hasn't had sex in 20 years. But they eat a cheese curd and go, you know what? One more day. I'll think about divorce tomorrow, but right now, I'm gonna face fuck this cheddar. I'm gonna get lost in this plate. So, I just saw something online that burned my eyes. I just found out that I'm on WikiFeet. Does anybody here know what WikiFeet is? A few of you nodding. A lot of dudes that are like, don't make eye contact with me right now. If you don't know what WikiFeet is, it's a website for people with foot fetishes. So women, if you post a photo on Instagram that shows your little tootsies, the foot folks might do a copy and paste onto WikiFeet and then zoom in on your toes and make their keyboard sticky. I know. It's like scrapbooking for men who need Jesus. It's a nice hobby. I know that sounds like I'm kink shaming. I'm really not trying to. Honestly, I am so jealous that some people can get off from that. Like, I wish I could just stare at a dude's hairy kneecap and get tingles in my basement. What a life. I would live on Wiki Knees. Oh, I would get nothing done. So much harder than that. So somebody told me that there's this profile of me on WikiFeet, and at first when I heard that, I was like, oh, does that mean I have hot feet? I'm so flattered. Then I went and looked. I saw that the foot fetish community has rated my feet only 2.3 out of 5 stars. Which they call okay feet. I was like, oh, apparently I have Applebee's feet. It's like, you'll put it in your mouth, but you won't tell anybody about it. Just kind of a 2 for Tuesday deal. And a few months before the pandemic hit, some dude slid into my DMs and just said, $2,000 for foot vid. Now, Denver, make some noise if you would send a video of your feet to a stranger for $2,000. Godless animals, all of ya. My ears, Jesus. Some of you just throw your areola up on Facebook for $1. Aunts and uncles seeing it, you don't give a shit. You're like, Venmo me my dollar, Aunt Sherry, I earned this. This is a solid nip.